And welcome back to another episode of More Than a Song, where we dive deeper into the heart behind the music, because every lyric, every melody, and every moment has a story. I'm your host, Tom Sears. I'm here with my daughter, Breanna Megan, and today we're going to talk about the kind of music that doesn't just fill a room, it fills a heart. This music opening up this particular episode is a song that's still currently in production called Here I Am, and it's close to being released. You know, music is powerful, but when God breathes a song, it becomes something more. And today's episode was 100% God breathed. I said in the last episode, when it was time to talk about this song, the song makes me uncomfortable. You'll understand hopefully here in a bit. But when God breathes it, it's more than a song. It'll provide healing. It'll provide revelation and hopefully transformation. And that's what today's conversation is all about, because we want to look beyond the notes and talk about the inspiration, the process, the breakthroughs, and the faith behind a father's cry. So we encourage you to settle in, take a breath, and let's go deeper together here on More Than a Song with Breanna Megan. So, I always say that it makes me a little uncomfortable. And before we dive into that, because I'm horrible at this apparently, I do want to encourage everyone to please visit legacylivingmedia.com. It's the home of all of our media resources and podcasts. And we even have a little store we've opened that's under construction, but some really cool Christian t-shirts and some gifts and different things. My books are on there, and some other books that I have found to be influential and books that I recommend, and I will not put them on the site unless I've read them. So there's that. But legacylivingmedia.com, we encourage you to stop by, and if you go to the top right, it says Legacy Living Store, and you can check out the store, and anything you purchase, you benefit this particular podcast, this particular ministry. And so we encourage you to do that now. Moving on. Oh, Father's Cry. When I say it makes me uncomfortable, do you understand, Breanna, what I mean?
I would imagine, like, when I hear it, it gives, like, it's very convicting. Like, it kind of makes you sick. When I, like, play it and sing it.
I'm sorry to laugh. I just wonder what the people out there are thinking. They're like, wow, this sounds like a wonderful song to listen to. It makes one uncomfortable and the other one sick. But it's not like that. Boy, this is a hard open for sure. So A Father's Cry. Let me. I don't know that I can. When you say sick, I think. I mean, you speak for yourself, but it's kind of just like you feel that knot in your stomach.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And that's what I mean when
like
I
a
say
tight, like yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say uncomfortable. But there's that anyway. So, are we going to be okay? Are we going to make it through this one?
I think we'll be okay.
Okay. So part of what we do here. Is obviously we want to break down the song because, as this podcast is aptly named, it's more than a song. And so, what was the very first spark that led to this song being written? And this, by the way, is on the first album, Near.
Yeah.
Chopping this to pieces, by the way. And people are probably like, man, I don't know about this song, but it's on the Near album, and it is the fifth song, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
So what was the first spark? What happened here?
Well, as we've talked about so far, I was on that journey of, figuring out who God is for me, figuring out all the things that he wants for my life. Like I was on that journey. And of course you go back to In the Silence. I had that experience leading to the You song and then Outcast. And so all of it led up to this song, Father's Cry.
Which is completely different, by the way, than the rest of them.
Yeah, completely like written different. Like the words it's like it. The other songs were like stories, like that I had, like things I had gone through. This was more of a God being like, "This is my heart." At least that's how it felt when I was writing.
Well,
it.
that's how the song goes, right? It's so when it's titled "A Father's Cry," the song is written like it's the father actually crying out, which is why I said it makes me a little uncomfortable because, and we'll break down the lyrics, but it's like the song is him speaking. Yeah,
it was kind of more like, okay, in my world of like thinking, this is how it felt. Like, okay, you've poured out your heart to me. You've told me all these things. You've walked through these things. But now here's my heart. This is what, the Father saying this. This is my heart. This is my desire. And yet these things aren't happening. I have children that don't acknowledge me. And it was convicting for me because I was on that path of, like in 2018, this song was in 2019, but in 2018, I wouldn't say like I got to a place where I didn't believe in God, but it was really kind of I don't like using this word, but it's the only word I can think of, like reconstructing, like, I don't like using that word because a lot of people use that, but like who God is, because I had grown up in church. You're a pastor. I knew all the things, but I was discovering who he was.
To you.
To me. And so to go through that and kind of like, I didn't leave him, but I was definitely questioning a lot. And like, for instance, I remember reading in Exodus, and the scripture that I had read many times for whatever reason stood out to me in 2018. And it was, God hardened Pharaoh's heart. And I was like, God, you're a just and loving God. You're a good God. Why would you harden Pharaoh's heart? Like, you didn't have to do that, but it says you did it. Like, why? And I was going through these questions of like, why? Like, if God is a good God, like, obviously there's bad things that happen, but you have this specific scripture that was like, I hardened Pharaoh's heart.
You know what's remarkable about that? Is that I remember being around the age of 17 or 18 years old and asking that exact same question.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I didn't know that you had asked. Like, I was like, so they could have left without any problems, but you decided to harden his heart. Yeah, I struggled with the exact same thing. But please go ahead.
No, I was just like, and I can't say that I still have the answers to that question, but I found that I'm not going to know because he's God and I'm not.
Well, I think I found the answer, and it's enough to satisfy me. Plus, as I've gotten older, I don't really get caught up in the questions as much. I trust him. I mean, my personal relationship with him has led me to a place where he is God and I am not. And there's things, I think we can always dig into things and always have a ton of questions. But if you believe in his sovereignty and you believe in who he is, you just trust him. And so, but anyway, the answer I came up with, I guess I probably should say at this point, was that, the children of Israel were God's chosen people, and he had told Moses, go and tell Pharaoh, let my people go. And I think that through the plagues and through the hardening of Pharaoh's heart and through all of that, the answer that I kind of came up with, and maybe someone out there has a better answer. It doesn't really matter all that much to me anymore, but the answer I came up with was God was revealing who he was to his people. He was showing them who he was. Now, it could also be argued that some of them didn't get the message, but that's what I came up with, was God was proving who he was. And so, that's the kind of where I tuck that away, and I'm good with it. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really move me, but go ahead.
No, so that was the season that I had came out of and was still wrestling with, if I'm honest. I think I wrote the song in April of 2019. So I was still in that place of figuring out God, like all the things. And I say that and it sounds like I was like throwing God away, and I wasn't. I needed to know him more than it's kind of like I didn't need the faith of my father. I didn't need the faith of my parents. I didn't need the faith of my family. I needed my faith. And that's where I was, in that process. And so then the Father's cry became this birthing, I think, of, okay, here's all your questions. Now here's my heart. And it was like, my heart is crying. My heart is aching. My heart is broken. Like, you want to tell me about all your brokenness, and I listen and I love you and I take it and I help you and I guide you, but here's mine. And it was very humbling song to write, I think, because God gave it to me and he didn't have to. I was in that place of asking all these questions. He didn't have to give it to me, and he did. But it also showed me a new level of who he is. And not only was it convicting and humbling, but it was such a learning experience. It was strengthening my faith through this song. So, this song was written on a Sunday night, before church one night. And I remember you had come in, because I was in one of the rooms off to the side. I just sat in a chair, grabbed my guitar and wrote it. And you came in and I was like, I wrote this song. Actually, I think it was before, I don't know. I was going to say a Christmas dinner, and then I was like, no, I said it was April. So actually I have no idea when I wrote it.
Christmas, Easter, 6, 7, who knows?
Oh gosh, I can't believe you just did that.
Well, you're a middle school teacher. You hear it all the time. And we actually just had, I don't have any idea what it means. And I think that's the thing. Although I have seen some things, popping up on social media that it comes from a rap song and is actually demonic.
Well, from what I know about it, it's talking about some person's height, like a football player's height or something, or I don't know. But my science room is 67, so I hear it all the time.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that either. I'm not going to spend a great deal of time.
No.
I can tell you that now. But here's what I will say is that I am not at all concerned that someone saying 6, 7 is going to turn into the manifestation of Satan. So I'm good saying that. It's not. I don't. Anyway, moving on.
We're so off track today.
Yeah. I bet the Father is crying. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was just talking about, I think I wrote, it was definitely a Sunday night. And I feel like we were having some sort of church dinner. So maybe it was like I don't know. Who knows what we were doing. But I definitely wrote it on a Sunday night. And you had come in.
Well, in all fairness, it's been 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? I mean.
Yeah, and I've gotten into the habit now where I write the dates when I write them. But I don't have it on this one.
So I see you have the original paper you wrote on there. Without the date, but we'll leave that there. No, actually, so I was at one of my questions for you was going to be, because obviously there's some things you have forgotten, you thought was a Christmas song. It turns out it's Easter, or around Easter, but no, I think the biggest question I would have is although obviously 6 years has passed and there's been a lot you probably forgot, do you recall how writing the song or penning the song made you feel?
I remember sitting there and it was like it was like he was talking almost. It was like I was just like hearing him talk to me. Like, and I do remember hearing, my heart is breaking as you live your lives. And then after that, it just came out, and I couldn't tell you like the feelings through the rest of the song. I just remember hearing that, and then it just became like just writing it down, just like very quickly. Like there's no, usually when I look at my papers, there's like scratches, there's things we've changed. There's nothing on this one.
And again, 6 years ago, but it seems like I feel like because you do pretty much the same process. You write it, and then a lot of times, not all the time, because I found out you have more songs than I have books on my shelf. But a lot of times, I think if you feel like, hey, this might be something really good, you typically come to me and we kind of talk about it. You agree, or
yeah, and that's how. I mean, you came in to the office that I was in, and I was like, hey, I just wrote this, and then you sat there and I played it. And I think if I can recall correctly, I think you sat there kind of like not like maybe in awe, not of me, but
it was the way it made me feel.
Yeah.
Which was, it's not a bad thing. I know we joked about it in the beginning, but it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's very like, it's like he's saying that to you, and it's all biblical. Like, I mean, every bit of it is biblical. But did we not have a conversation? I mean, I feel like maybe I'm wrong. I feel like I was like, no, I don't think you changed something like this. This is clearly him speaking. I don't think you changed this.
I think you did say that. I mean, yeah, it's been a while, but I think you did say that. Because like usually we would sit down, you would listen to it, you'd chew on it, you'd be like, okay, well, I think this might sound better here. Let's go through it, sing it again. Like, I mean, the editing process of these songs. But this was the one that we didn't change. The only thing we changed was the title. And
what was the original title?
When I say it now, it's so stupid. But I was never good at. I've never been good at titling anything. Just for the listeners out there, usually the titles you hear are my dad's, and so just throwing that out there.
I don't remember.
Because
if you would rather not say it, then we will leave everyone listening in suspicion.
I don't care. It was All I Want, and the reason why was because it was like that was a very.
I don't think that sounds stupid.
But you were like, the Father's cry. And I was like, but that was like when we went to record it, you changed the title.
So it wasn't immediately.
It wasn't an immediate thing.
I was probably like, I don't know. I feel like I sat in silence when I heard it the first time. And honestly, I still, when I hear it, it moves me. It moves me. I don't know how else to say it.
It's hard to sing.
Why?
Because it does something to me.
Oh, I see. Okay, so because
it's not me. Like, I mean, none of my songs. I don't like saying that any of my songs are me because like they aren't. But like it does. It's just very hard to just sing those words because they're speaking right back at me. They're talking to me. They're talking to me as much as they are anybody that's listening to it. And so to sing it, it's hard to keep my composure most of the time.
So I guess we probably should start breaking down these lyrics. And you go ahead. The first verse.
So the first verse says, my heart is breaking as you live your lives. I'm tossed around like nothing, but I gave you life. When will you see that I can make you free? On, it's a cycle now. Say amen, and then you join the crowd. Come to church and worship my name, but you don't live out what you're saying.
So I know you well enough to know that this is not you. Okay. But there may be someone out there that hears that and they say, well, it just sounds like a preacher's kid who has grown up in church and has been influenced by the fact that, because it says there on, it's a cycle now. Say amen and then join the crowd, which is obviously a reference to, church being more of a performance than an actual sign of a relationship with God. So what would you say to maybe a critic? We don't typically do this, but what would you say to someone that would say, that just sounds like a preacher's kid that's seen all of this, and they're not being hostile per se, but they're like, that doesn't mean it came from God.
So my first thing would be, this is kind of hard to answer. I wasn't prepared to answer such a question. I think I would look at them and be like, I hear you. You know, I get that. But this is, yes, a preacher's kid singing this, but this is a preacher's kid that has seen and like felt the side of religion. Like, I don't like religion. I don't like all the things. And so, yes, I've seen a lot. I've heard a lot, but God is bigger than all of those things.
How long did it take you to write this song?
A couple minutes.
Unaltered, unchanged.
Unaltered, unchanged.
Okay. So in a lot of ways, it's, we know that it's inspired, but that I think also kind of speaks to the fact that, hey, this is a God song. Come to church and worship my name, but you don't live out what you say.
Yeah. Am I still answering the original question?
You answer whatever. This is more than a song with Breanna Megan. Answer whatever you want to answer.
Because I've seen a lot of the church side. I've seen the churchy things. I've seen the churchy games. Heck, I've played the churchy games myself, so I'm not like throwing everybody under the bus. Like, you know, as Christians, especially Christians in ministry, I think we believe we have to come in with a certain facade, a certain face, a certain, you know, you have to say certain things. You gotta sing a certain song to get the crowd going. Like it becomes this game. And I was in a place I didn't want games. I still don't want games. I just want God. And so, and I would like to believe that was inspired by the Lord. Like, he doesn't want us coming to church and just going through the motions. Like, he wants our heart. Like, he is seeking a heart after him. And so as Christians, we and I say we because I know that this is true because I have done the same things. We want to like push away the pain. We want to push away the things, the messiness, the lies, everything that we have in our lives that we don't want anybody to see. We push it away. And by doing that, that causes us to push away God as well. Like, we're not just pushing ourselves away from other people, we're pushing ourselves away from God. And so in this song, he was saying, I know you have a lot going on. I know, and talking to anyone that hears it, I know you have a lot going on. I know that life maybe it's not what you want, but like, you're coming to church, you're speaking my name, you're praising my name, but your heart is far from me, and you're not living out the things you say you believe. So
this is going to get very personal. And I know it starts with, my heart is breaking as you live your lives being plural, which means he's not just talking to a single person, but you were talking about sort of the faith struggle that you were in, you know, and I always think it's amazing that the way God uses us in some of our maybe darkest places or deepest valleys. But do you feel that he was also saying this to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Which is why it's so hard to sing, because it's not just it'd be hypocritical of me to look at somebody and say, this song is for you, but not apply it to me. That'd be very hypocritical, because I did push him away for a while. I did just try to go through the motions. I was just doing the churchy things, living the churchy way, doing what I was supposed to do, but not really seeking him, not really worshiping him, not really, I wasn't doing anything bad, like in the sense of anything bad. I was just not.
It's Ephesus, the church at Ephesus.
Yeah.
They had a really good everything. They did everything they were supposed to do, except their heart had drifted. We talk about that a lot. As a matter of fact, my series of messages that I don't know, it seems like we've, we graduated from lay it down to now press on after laying it down. But when we were doing the 10-week sermon series on laying it down from Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1, lay aside the weight and the sin that would so easily beset you or entangle you or ensnare you. One of the things that we were talking about was laying the heavy things down, laying the things that hold us back or slow us down. And so it sounds like maybe you were kind of in a process of trying to discover, and I think it's a journey that everybody goes on, because I reached a place in my life where I was like, God, I don't want to know you through someone else's voice. I want to know you through your voice. I don't want to hear another great thing spoken over my life that says I'll be this and I'll do that. I want to hear you say it. I want to know you. I want to have a personal relationship with you. And so it sounds like that's very similar to what you were going through. And then in the midst of that, while he's pouring out songs and you're putting them on paper and eventually recording them, this message comes.
Yeah, the struggle had been happening from the end of 2018. Well, I mean, before that, but the songs started coming then. And then to have this song that you've already said, it was so different than the other ones. Like, to have this song come in, it kind of took my breath away in a way, figuratively speaking. Like, it didn't go with the flow of any of the other songs. Like, if you listen to the other songs, they're pretty much like similar in a lot of ways. This one, it was definitely his heart. And I was humbled and am still humbled by the fact that in the middle of what I was going through, he could speak it to me, that he could lay it on my heart to write it, because I still wasn't in a place of like, oh, I've got this figured out. I mean, I still don't have it figured out fully, but it was just a humbling thing, but yet so convicting, because he was laying this on my heart, knowing that I had pushed him away, knowing that I had strayed from him, knowing that I was a mess. And yet he came in and was giving this to me.
And again, I think that's, partly what we were saying is that he wasn't just giving it to you for others. He was speaking to you as well. Talk about that chorus.
It says, all I want is you. All I need is you. Come to me, child, and live like you used to. And I can tell you exactly where that came from.
Okay.
It goes back to 5 years old, sitting on a swing set. I can still see it in my mind, looking up to the sky and just simply saying, Jesus, will you live in my heart? And I remember like imagining, I've said this a lot, but it's like I can see it in my mind. So like, as soon as I said that, I remember it's like I could see my heart, and I had a door on it, and I opened it up, and there was like a little room, and it was like, all right, Jesus, I made your house. This makes me very emotional. I made your house for you. And that was like 5-year-old me. And even now, it's like, I wish I could get back to that.
Well, the Bible actually talks about this, that we must be like a child. And there's something to be said about that, because I also have my own childhood stories of, conversations with him, and they are very, very real. And it's that childlike faith that as we grow, the world just does everything it can to just take it from us, and circumstances and situations. But that's, so profound. So you were 5 years old on a swing. You say, Lord, here's your house. I made it for you. Come on in. And fast forward now to 2019, and you're writing the words, all I want is you. All I need is you. Come to me, child, and live like you used to.
Yeah, it was a moment of realizing that because Satan roars about seeking who he can devour, he's trying to take away the faith, he's trying to take away any belief that you have in God. And life was doing that to me. There were so many things happening. It was like, back to the scripture, but I was seeing it in real life. Like, God, why are you allowing these things to happen? Like, why? And it was a moment that it was intimate and real of take away all the pain, take away all the trouble, take away everything. All I want is you. But not only was he saying that to me, I think with the line, come to me, child, and live like you used to, it was him inviting me to say that back. To say, will you tell me that all you want is me? That all you need is me? Because you used to say that. You used to believe that. But now you've gotten to this place where you are doubting me and you're questioning me and you're pushing me away because you see all the things happening in life. But I'm inviting you to say that back. You don't have to, but here's your invitation. And I cry because it is very emotional to me. But, life does whatever it can, as you said, to just take that away. And even now, there's so many things that I'm like, God, what are you doing? Like, why? All these questions. And it's just learning to trust him even when you can't see, learning to trust him when it's out of your hands, learning to walk with him and talk with him. And so he was inviting me to be like, all I want, Lord, is you. All I need, Lord, is you. Here I am like a child, and I want to live like you want me to. And I think, you could take that scripture, or you could take that chorus as him saying it to me, because he was. All I want is you. All I need is you. Come to me, child, and live like you used to. You used to do these things. But it was also an invitation. And that just hit me. Like I can tell you I wasn't thinking that when I wrote it, but just talking about it here, it hit me that not only was it a statement, but it was an invitation for me to be all in on whatever he wants.
It's quite remarkable, actually. So then we go into the second verse.
So it says, as the tears fill up in my eyes, you won't even stop to say hi. Do you not realize the blessings I've given to you? And I have the same reaction to that verse now that I did when I wrote it. It's like I can see it exactly how I saw it then. I see the busyness of life, I can see like groups of people walking, shuffling through. You're rushing to work. You're rushing to grocery shop. You're rushing to pick up the kids. You're rushing to take the kids to sports. You're rushing to do whatever you're doing. And we get so caught up in our lives. We get so caught up in our day-to-day that we forget to simply stop and say, hey, Lord, and just have a conversation with him. And that's what he was saying in that verse was like, I'm breaking because you're living your lives, the lives I gave you, the life that, the breath in your lungs, I gave it to you. And you can't even stop for a second to say hi. You can't even acknowledge me. And that verse is really hard for me to sing.
Because we all do get so busy. Yeah. Well, we're going to pause for a second. We'll get back to that conversation. I just want to give a quick reminder that today's episode is brought to you by Legacy Living Media. And if you have not visited yet, head over to legacylivingmedia.com. And as I said earlier, it's the home for everything that we are creating. So you're going to find all of our podcasts, including What's Important Now, More Than a Song, and eventually Be the One with Faith Danielle. So Faith is, I'm going to pause in that little live read there. And Faith is my youngest. She actually joined me on the What's Important Now program in our last episode. And we were talking about the war for the next generation. She, I think, needs to make a grand entrance, because when she was young, that was all about the grand entrance. And I say that, to be funny, but she's very particular, and she's working on a lot of different ideas for this podcast. And when it launches, it's going to really be something. I had some people reach out on social media that listened to the episode that she was on of What's Important Now, and just talked about how well-spoken she is. And she is co-president of Liberty University's online Turning Point USA. And she is very well-spoken. She's working really hard. She's going to pursue constitutional law. She wants to defend America's Christian heritage. And so she's working on that. And of course, that's a path to take, really is. So that one will drop here at some point. I don't want to put a timetable on it because I myself am waiting. But we just released our first episode of New Beginnings Live, and it's just teachings. And as a matter of fact, the one that has dropped now is part one of the sermon series that I mentioned earlier about laying aside the weight. And so in that particular episode, we talk about what the weight is. Weight is not necessarily sin, but it's the things we carry around that hold us back and slow us down. Some of it's not even our fault. It's just things that have accumulated over time. So I do encourage you to check that out. And of course, find it on the podcasting platforms and subscribe. But we do have everything right there at legacylivingmedia.com. We'll start sharing articles and other resources, teaching tools, and so much more to help you grow in your faith and to live with purpose, thus legacy living, to leave something for the next generation. Super, super important to me. As a matter of fact, one of the things I'm working on is the listeners of What's Important Now would know this, and the people that know me would know this, but I'm a longtime coach and athletic director in high school. And I want to teach other coaches and other athletic administrators the importance of building a culture of character and integrity. And so one of the things we're going to offer here at some point is, how to do that, and some resources to help people to do that. And I think it will be beneficial for anyone in that realm. And so also, while you're there, make sure you check out Legacy Living Store. We do have a little store that we've started. You can pick up my books, Into the Deep and While It Is Day. And then also books that I personally recommend. I think I have 2 listed right now, one of them being the Bible. So
that's a good one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think so. So, but I will not put anything in our Legacy Living Store book-wise that I do not personally recommend, meaning that I have read it. And so there's a ton of inspiring Christian gifts if you want to pick up something for yourself or for someone else. The best part about all of that, and I'm not going to push that too much, but the best part is that when you purchase at Legacy Living Store, not only are you going to get a great product, but you're also going to be able to help support Legacy Living Media, which is producing What's Important Now, More Than a Song, New Beginnings Live, and eventually Be the One, and others. And if you're out there and you have a quality podcast that it's legacy minded, don't hesitate to reach out to me because we want to build this into a network that is promoting faith and character and integrity in our generation, because it's so important. And as I say on What's Important Now, it's more important now than ever. So don't forget to visit there. Okay. Back to the Father's Cry. So if listeners, and we're not quite finished with the song, but if listeners could take away one truth from the song, and there's several challenging points, and we're not even to the bridge, but if they could take away one truth, what would you want them to take?
That's hard to answer. I'm looking at the paper trying to pull something out here because there is so many things. Maybe, when will you see that I can make you free? That might be the one I would say.
I think for me, and as you know this, my ministry is very heavily centered around an intimate relationship with God, that I feel that, you mentioned you yourself, you hate religion. You get that after me. I absolutely hate it. I'm not into churchy things. I'm just not, and people get offended by that sometimes because, it's just, to me, it's not about churchy things. It's about a relationship. Church has its place. It's been purchased with a price. Jesus himself said that the gates of hell will not prevail against it. And I'm not going to get into all that. What I'm trying to say is that, I'm not into the gimmicks. I just want God. I just want his truth. I want his word. And sometimes what we make church is, I think it's deviated from what he would have it to be. But I think for me, the overall song sends out a message that just simply says what the chorus says. All I want is you. All I need is you. Come to me, child, and live like you used to. So he wants relationship. Mm-hmm. I think for me, that's what it speaks to me.
Yeah. I was going to say the chorus too, but then I was thinking about.
Too late. You didn't.
I know. I missed it. But when will you see that I can make you free? To me, because there is so much brokenness and everybody's looking for an answer. Everybody's looking for something and they're doing everything to get it, but it always leaves them empty and dry and wounded and broken. And so he really is the only thing that can make us free. He's the only thing that can give us hope. And I think that's why that line stood out to me for that question.
All right. Talk to us about that bridge.
So the bridge, it says health, life, forgiveness of your sin. I sent my son to die for you so you could live with me forever.
And there it is. Relationship.
Yeah. Well, and not only like when I read that chord or bridge, he's saying I created you. I breathed life into you. But if that's not enough, let's list the things I have done for you. Along with that, I've given you health. I've given you your life. I sent my son to die for you. I've given you forgiveness of sins, and I want you to live with me forever. I'm trying to give you the opportunity. It's that invitation again, and we've said it on here before. God is not a man that he's not going to force himself. He is a gentleman, and he is crying out even now for a relationship. He's asking for us to just accept him, but he's not forcing himself. He's not going to be out there pushing himself on you. He really is just inviting you, and you have to choose to accept that. But that's when I read that bridge, it's just, here are the things I've done, and there's so many others. So if that's not enough, here you go, here's some more. And it's just, when you stop and think about the goodness of God, when you stop and think about all he's done, we're a selfish people. All of us, we were born selfish, and we want, but we never stop to be like, oh, that thing beating in my chest, that doesn't happen without God. That my eyes, like, I can't blink them without a working brain, which is God. Like, all these things, if we just stop, and then you start to look around you, oh, my family, oh, my house, my car, everything that we have, like, it's God. And so, like, and yet we just continue to push him away. And I think that's why this song was just so, my heart is breaking, because he's given so many blessings. He's given so many opportunities to just seek him, and we don't do it.
So as people and as churches and ministries and atheists, people in general, we have defined God a lot, right? We've some people think he's this hostile, ready for us to mess up so he can curse us or throw lightning bolts down from heaven and strike us dead. And others think that he is so loving that he will overlook all of our sin and there'll be no judgment. There'll never be anything like that. And what I always tell people is you go to his word, right? And you look at his word, and it's very clear how he is. And one scripture that stands out to me is that his heart's cry is, I would that none perish. So he wants all of us to understand how much he loves us. There was a great controversy years ago about I forget who wrote it. Maybe you'll know, but Reckless Love. Who wrote that?
Corey Asbury.
I almost said that. Okay.
Too late. You missed it.
Turnabout is fair play. Okay. So, all right. Anyway, so Reckless Love, there was this big controversy. And there was another Christian singer that came out and said, listen, this is not even biblical because God's love is not reckless. And actually, when I read that article as a pastor, I actually told our church, we're going to push pause on that song because I wanted to dissect it and pray about it and all of that. And the conclusion that I came to was that if you're an outsider and you see one literally abandon 99 to go find one, wow, that looks reckless. Mm-hmm. And that is the Father's heart, right? So I just feel like, we pinned the name of the song the Father's Cry, because you can hear it there. He says, health, life, forgiveness of your sins. I sent my son to die for you. So what he's saying is, these are the things that I've done. And you explained this, but it's almost like, I don't want to use the word beg, but it's almost like that. He would that none perish. He's saying, I want you so much. Look at what I've done. And listen, I realize people are in all kind of different places in their life. Some people are very healthy and some people battle in their bodies. And some people have been maybe born with a silver spoon in their mouth, and then others have known nothing but hurt and pain and abuse from the time that they were a baby. But yet, if we can take a step back and see that we do have a Father who loves us and cares about us, and his cry is that we are with him. And what did Jesus say? When Jesus was telling his disciples, listen, I've got to go. I can't stay here. There's more for me to do. But here's what I want you to know, that I'm leaving. Boy, now I'm going to get emotional. I'm leaving. I'm leaving to go and prepare a place for you, that where I am, there you can be also. And it's very clear that the Father's heart is to be with us. Your song says that. His word shows that as well. But everything he's done has been about us. And for someone that doesn't understand that, and I know we're not breaking down reckless love, but for someone that doesn't understand that, doesn't see that, it could appear to be very, very reckless. Because it says there's no shadow he won't light up, No mountain he won't climb up. I forget the other part. You don't know it either. It's perfect.
No, my mind went blank.
Yeah, well.
Well, after that, it's just coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down.
That's it.
Lie you won't tear
I
down.
knew there was some kicking involved.
Coming after me.
Yeah, that's what it was. So, but it just, once it's so, obviously, so we decided that hey, that's not a bad song. Like, he's describing the heart of God, that God is, no, he's not reckless. He's not at all. God is not reckless. But from someone that may be standing on the outside watching, again, he leaves the 99 to go after the one. There's something powerful about that.
Well, I think about even Jesus. First, I think about like God. Jesus could, in my opinion, like God can do anything he wants. So like Jesus could have came down, died on a cross, went back to heaven. Like he could have done that. He also could have like left the cross. He didn't have to go to, he could have chosen to be like, hey, I mean, he cried out to God in the garden saying like, if this, like, can you let this cup pass from me? But nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. Like he was crying out like, hey, God, like, if there's another way, let's do that thing. But yet he still went. And I think about how Jesus chose his disciples. Like he didn't go to the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the priests and say, hey, come follow me. He didn't say that to them. Like, I mean, he wanted them to follow him, but he didn't go to them. He went to the man that was fishing. He went to the one that was a tax collector. Like he wasn't like going after the religious people because like they knew everything in their minds. But like he went after the ones that they were willing to trust him. They were willing to have faith. And they might not have, they were the outcasts of society. They were the ones that, I mean, they weren't the ones that were going to measure up, and yet God still chose them because he didn't want anybody to perish. He didn't want anyone to just fall away.
It does seem, though, all the way back to the disciples, that sometimes he chooses what society may label as a misfit. I definitely fall into that category. And for whatever reason, and I think the reason is that he sees what's happening on the inside of a person. That, you know, it's reminiscent of Samuel when he went to Jesse, and one by one each son was paraded before him, and you know, Samuel was like, well, I think this is it. And God said, nope, you don't have it, buddy, because you're looking on the outside of a man. He said, but the Lord your God looks at the heart. And so Samuel's like, well, I'm not really sure what's happening here, but I think all the sons have been kind of paraded in front of me. What? Hey, Jesse, do you have any more sons? Yeah, we got a guy out there, but he's out there tending the sheep. It's the one that was never supposed to be. And you know what? Let's say that to you, the listener, today. You don't have to line up. You don't have to fit the perfect mold. Religion tells you do, but that's not Christianity. Jesus will take you just as you are. And listen, I'm not going to be like the guy with a golden microphone in a golden chair with a golden desk with a golden phone at 2 a.m. in the morning, promising you that if you send in your best love gift, that all of your problems will go away. I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is that Jesus loves you, and as Breanna's song says, all he wants is you. He just wants your heart. He wants you to be like the 5-year-old Breanna Megan sitting on a swing that said, hey, I'm opening the door to my heart. Won't you come on in? To me, that's powerful. Any final thoughts?
I just want to say that, because to just kind of follow up with what you were saying, you know, maybe you do feel like you're just too far gone or whatever. God can use you, but he's inviting you. He's calling. Like he so badly wants you, and he's never going to force himself on you. But when we enter in relationship with Christ, there is no excuse but to change. Like, there will be change that takes place. And maybe you're looking for freedom, or maybe you're looking for peace. Like, he offers all of that. And he is calling you, and he has such a plan for your life. Like, you were not placed here for nothing. You were not placed here just to be here. Like, he has a plan and a purpose for your life. And I just encourage you to go seek that out and search. And, if you have questions, that's okay, because God is not afraid of your questions. He's not afraid of your fears. Like, he wants relationship, and sometimes relationship is asking those questions. But make sure you sit long enough to hear the answer too.
Yeah, quiet. Yeah. Sometimes in the silence. Mm-hmm. Which brings me to, so this is off of your Near album, and we've talked about it in one of the episodes. I don't recall which, but like you was a novice, right? You were a novice in the whole recording process, and you've even said that sometimes it's hard for you to go back and listen to this album. But obviously, and you see the growth in each album. But the words and the song, regardless of how you feel about the sound, were still very powerful, and they were some of your first songs. And so up until this episode, we have went through In the Silence, Never Changing, You, Outcast, and Father's Cry. And in the last episode, and I didn't catch it until I was listening to it back, because what we told the audience is we were going to kind of go through, and you were going to pick, which is your favorite so far. And up through the first 3 episodes, In the Silence was your favorite. But then in the last episode, when we talked about Outcast, you said, and I'll quote you, it's right up there with In the Silence. And so I didn't hold your feet to the fire. So considering that comment, and then today's song, Father's Cry, if you had to pick one, which one is it?
It's still hard. I think this one, because it is so different, is like its own category. So I can't even like compare it really, like, if that makes sense. So, but it would still be In the Silence. In the Silence. In the Silence is still winning. Okay, so I don't want to give any spoiler alerts, but I do want to look ahead at the rest of the songs on the album. There's a total of 12 songs. I think I misspoke in one of the episodes and said that there were 10, and I think you corrected me. If you didn't do it on air, you did it off the air, but I was corrected. I don't recall which. But the next episode will be Fighting My Battles, and then Trust Again, Near, I Want More of You, Jesus, which features Faith Danielle. Yeah, we might need to pull Faith Danielle in on that one. I think we better. Because Faith Danielle, she wrote that song, most of that song, and actually. I want to tell the listening audience, there's a lot of stories coming out of that song, and getting the 3 of us on here together is going to be quite an interesting thing. So I'll say that first. And then you had Great and Holy Are You, Lord, and then Giving My Life Away, and Dancing with the King. And that finishes out the Near album. And then we will start looking ahead at the album that released in 2022, The Rescue, that was recorded at Harvest Studio in Huntington, but produced by Craig Nobles, who traveled with Karen Peck and New River. It's got a little bit of like, I don't want to call it Southern gospel, but it's definitely like, it's got a little country to it, right? I think, which is kind of his wheelhouse. And then the newest album, what's it called? It'll be Piece by Piece. Piece by Piece, yes. And that's how we're putting it together, is Piece by Piece. That was recorded probably, I think, in April 2023. 23, and it's yet to release. That's a story. That's a whole episode by itself. 17 episodes. It could be. But we have a gentleman in Texas who's helping pick up the pieces of Piece by Piece. And so that's kind of the delay. One song from Piece by Piece has already been released. It's free. It's a wonderful song. It's titled Free. And I assume if you have Apple Music, it's also free.
but there's that one. And then the song that opened this episode, Here I Am, is really close to being done. And then it'll also release as well. So we're getting there. That album, Piece by Piece, has 10 songs, including a remake of In the Silence. But we're way ahead of ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah, and there's so many songs that it will start getting really interesting on what I choose, because it's a lot. Like there's a lot that is like, oh, I like that one.
So we got to stay tuned to find out which. So right now, episode 1's In the Silence is still her favorite song. And we'll have to, you'll have to stay tuned to see. And I will as well, because I don't know that I know.
No, because we haven't talked about it. Like,
yeah. And I don't want to know.
No, I don't know yet. Like, I don't even know yet. So
well, ladies and
we'll
gentlemen,
all find out together.
So you see the problem before us. Nobody knows what's happening. So, so there it is. But anyway, well, I want to thank you, Breanna, for another opportunity to sit down and talk about your music. Been some really busy times that's kind of prevented us from recording this on a more consistent basis, which we do apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try to do better, but we both live super busy lives. And as an athletic director at a school that is traditionally very successful, I've told many people over the last month that I've taken a tour of the state of West Virginia. I've been all over with different state tournaments, games, and regional events. And then you, young lady, your volleyball team made it to Charleston for the, for people that don't know, the state tournament for the second year in a row. So congratulations on that. And that has kind of held us back as well.
Yeah, and then I started coaching, assistant coaching middle school basketball. So that's been
fun.
While also trying to get my master's degree and teach. So yeah, it's been busy.
Hold on, let me pause and feel really, really bad for you.
I know you don't feel bad for me.
I just tell her to tough it up and we move on. But no, obviously super proud. And we're also super excited for what's happening with this podcast. I look at it, the analytics and the statistics, and I see that people really like it. And I want to thank you for that. Just continue to subscribe and share. Don't forget, you can go to legacylivingmedia.com. And everything we have is right there. It's still a work in progress, but it's right there. And you can also reach out to us. There are forums there where you can reach out and contact us. Maybe you want to give a shout out or a comment or whatever. Don't be afraid to do that. We would love to hear from you. This is all about us growing together. In my office hangs a sign on the way out the door that says, "It's not about you." That's talking to me. And it says it never will be. It's about him and them, a passion for souls. And so we're all in this together. And, I think that that's the best way for it to be. So, well, we're going to wrap things up. I want to encourage you to just keep pressing on. It's super important to keep pressing on and subscribe, share this program, and we will see you next time as we talk about Fighting My Battles, the song.
The song. That'll be a hard one.
Why?
Because I remember what I was going through when I wrote it.
Well, that's why we say that it's more than lyrics, more than melody. It's
more than a song.
With Breanna Megan. Have a great day. God bless you.